Ijakumo, the Born Again Stripper. This is one of the most bashed Hollywood movie of all time. If you ask me why, I'll say moviegoers went to the cinema to watch this movie, and from cinema straight to Twitter to drop their improperly baked opinions, and there was a ripple effect here and there, and people started catching up on popular opinions, and that was it. Everybody thinks the movie is bad. Which leads me to say, if you watch this movie before you go to Twitter, you're gonna like it. If you go to Twitter first before you watch this movie, you stand a chance of not liking the movie. With that being said, you're welcome to the good, the bad, and the ugly sides of Ijakumo, the Born Again Stripper. You see, I could do a whole review without even adding a spoiler. I mean a proper spoiler. Then I could also do another videos about people who have done reviews of this movie and making you feel like, and without no points, they're making you feel like you're never going to enjoy it if you watch it. I felt like that too. I felt like, oh, okay, so I'm just about to waste my time watching this movie. Okay, with a lot being said, let's get to it. Here's what I found watching Ijakumo, the Born Again Stripper. The movie featured likes of Kunle Remi, Toyin Imakun, Deborah Shukoya, Olumide Owuru, and one new lady, Okusanya Ololade. Okay, Okusanya Ololade. It was directed by a couple of people that have not really heard their names before. The title. I'm sure you'd have seen one or two comments on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok about people saying, oh, the movie didn't really look like the title. Or what's going on in the movie didn't really match the name of the movie. Okay, let me bust your bubble. Bust it. Everything has names. Universities have names. Secondary schools have names. Churches have names. Banks have names. If my name is Livingstone, doesn't mean I should have tons of stone in my pocket. Even the guy who won Goliath with a stone in the Bible, his name was not called Livingstone. His name is David. If I'm a filmmaker and I name a movie and it doesn't sound like what you're expecting, then I think the joke is on you. I just said that on behalf of other movies that you might have had similar reasoning with. But let me tell you this, Ijakumo, the Born Again Stripper, is a name given to a character that is a bad girl, born again, and also a stripper. So in my little opinion, I think it matches the movie. Of everywhere a filmmaker can have a spoiler, I don't think the title is an appropriate place. I think titles should carry suspense, not spoilers. Story, okay, this is where I agree to some of the facts and comments that I saw online. The story was all over the place. A couple of scenes here and there that were not exactly relevant to moving the plot forward or moving the story forward. A story is supposed to have a beginning, a middle, and an ending. Every scene is supposed to be important to a story, whether moving the plot forward or moving the story forward. When you take out a scene from a movie, it's supposed to be missing. Cliches. The part where a flash drive was supposed to be stolen sounds like one. I don't really like that. And just so you know, even if you're the best hacker in the world and you're supposed to hack something as important as how it was depicted in the movie, I think you need prior information before making the first attempt. And even with prior information, it can take you 10 minutes. But if you're just a mediocre hacker, you'll never get to hack it. We're not talking of hacking Facebook here. Those Facebook accounts that hack, their hackers already have all the information. Now, if you're the best hacker in the world, you could be successful hacking it after a couple of days. But if you are just a mediocre hacker, you would never get to hack it. Not to talk of hacking it in less than 10 minutes. What? Loose ends. Loose ends are a situation where you start something but you don't finish it. I had a couple of that in this movie. Let's talk about continuity. Continuity has to do with all the consistencies that has to do with a particular scenes, group of scenes, or related scenes. If there is a scene where there is going to be a wall clock, and on that wall clock the time is 5 o'clock. If it's going to take me 2 minutes to tell you something, when I'm done the time should be 2 minutes after 5. But if the time is 5:30, there is a continuity issues. It means that the editor only chose those things, those scenes that appeal the most to the scene, whether it's 5:30 or 6 o'clock. In terms of continuity, I put the blame on two people. The first person is the continuity manager that was supposed to manage all those things that happen to be continuous during a movie, and I put the blame on the final output on the editor, because those two people are supposed to be in charge of continuity. Look at the hands of this guy. Can you see the tablets?
I apologize, Chief.
Boom!
But then again,
the tablet has disappeared. That is continuity. So there was a medium shot where the guy was holding the tablet, and then a couple of minutes later, they decided to take that shot again, but this time around in the wide region. And now we can't find the tablet. Continuity manager, the joke is on you. Why I said I'll put the blame of that continuity error on the editor is because there would have been a shot in the collection or group of shots where even in the wide angle, there would have been that stablet in his hand, but he chose not to use it because the shots are so much to go through, and he chose to use the one that was closest to him. So there's this part of the movie where this lady came into the pastor's office and told the pastor, "Sir, I need money." And the pastor opened the Bible and asked her to read this particular Bible verse. Now, what I observed from that scene was, before pastor was able to mention the verse number where she was supposed to read, she already had her fingers on the verse. Only one thing could explain that: she was a mind reader, or the editor wasn't paying utmost attention. Okay, let me give you a short lecture on cinematography as it relates with scene. For every scene, there should be a beginning, a middle, and an ending. For the beginning, I should be on wide. I should see everything that is happening in the location. I should see every damn thing in that scene. And as the scene begins to intensify, I should be in the middle. I should be on the close-ups of the actors involved. And when the intensity begins to drop towards the ending of the scene, I should be on wide again. But I think the editor begins to take me back and forth with unmotivated cuts. This rule could be broken, but I think the editor does not know about it altogether. I'm talking about the same scene where she was asked to read the Bible. And if you take a closer look at that scene, you would discover that that scene was not rounded up. It was just cut short and we moved to the next scene. In my own opinion, I think the story peaked slowly, but it was good enough that on the 45 minutes mark, I was able to put a complete team together that you shouldn't trust everybody. There could be some wolves in sheep clothing. The first scene where we have Pastor Gidi and Ashabi in the same shot should have been the height of the movie. Everything we've been watching previously has been building up to this point. For the sake of timelines, was properly positioned at the center of the movie. But all of a sudden, having a closer look at this scene, I suddenly saw it dragging on the floor. These two actors are one of the best Nigerians I've ever produced, so I'm putting the blame on the director. We know this movie is about revenge, and the revenge concerns these two characters. I was expecting a lot of motivated banters in the right emotions, but all of a sudden I saw it dragging on the floor. I was disappointed, to say the least. Okay, there was this progression I enjoyed the most. It happened somewhere around the fight scene. It was happening that this guy was disturbing this pastor and saying, "Let's go, we need to leave this place." It happened the first time, the second time. What happened the third time beat my imagination. I wasn't expecting it. Thumbs up to the director. It was a go. Okay, let's get to the good part. The editing around the visual effect was awesome. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was motivated and it was necessary. Then the other editing where the guy was going up, wow, I love that editing. It was fine and it was also motivated. Due to the circumstances around the scene, I think the right VFX was chosen and it was properly done. There was also some other visual effect that was not properly done. Like the scene where she was on the rock and she went to meet her father, or was it her father that came to meet her, whatever it was. Regards that scene, some people said, oh, it was not right for her to, because she has not died, she went to meet her father in heaven or something. Well, let me give you an instance. Take yourself memory back. You remember that some of your friends or someone has told you something like that before. Oh, when I had this sickness, I almost died. I was seeing my dead mother in heaven. She was calling me. It was just more dramatic in the movie you watch, and that's the main characteristics of movies. Some of the makeup effect was not properly done. I saw a Kim effect in the cast and crew, which means something went wrong. Like I said earlier, there are a lot of moving parts in a movie production, and you can't catch all of them at the same time. A lot of unmotivated adverts in this movie. Yeah, I didn't like it, but someone has to pay for the movies. But there's this particular one I like the most, and it shows the beauty of good cinematography. When we were done with the scene was when we had to see the advert. The advert has been there all the while, but we only had to see it at the right time. So when we were done with the scene, boom, Loft collections. I like the fact that every scene where you find this man, you find his draw. Generally speaking, it was a good production. On the casting, I'm sure you agree with me that the casting director did an amazing job. All actors were appropriate in the place we found them, apart from the fact that when Ashabi was younger, she had an R factor, and when she was grown up, boom, it was all gone. It might not be relevant, I'm just pointing at the fact that I noticed. Kunle Remi's acting was excellent. Pastor Kunle, you're a bad boy. Bonus fact, 1 minute silence to those that nominated the wrong actors at the AMVCAs. May their soul rest in peace when they finally die. Because none of us watch these movies on DSTV. That being said, I think I should point out the fact that there is no obvious mistake in this movie. I'm not saying you're going to notice any of these things I'm mentioning from the get-go. Yeah, let's get to some more bad parts. The air. Some people are of the opinion that the air was too long. Well, I might agree with that, but I must confess to you, I enjoyed it when I saw it. I like the air. It was flowing. It was very long. Someone else said it's too short a time to grow that long hair. You see, in situations where you let people have an opinion, they begin to say different things. How long is the hair that 20 years is too short to grow?